launch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1.
Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it is so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by. Now, here's JP.
We'll start it all over again. Sorry, I muted myself. I'm doing it by myself this morning, sort of. So now you can hear me. Welcome into the show, guys. Thank you very much. See, this is what I need my commenters for. We got a great show for you coming up. Scott Carter's going to join us here from FloridaGators.com at 10:30. He'll wrap up the Florida spring game, and we'll talk some Florida baseball. Caglione. Whatever this cat's name is, I'm trying to get it right, and he is just mashing home runs at a record pace. So we'll chat with Scott Carter about all things Gators. Corey Long's going to join us, who covers the Lightning each and every game here at Amalie Arena. So we'll chat with him about the Panthers series coming up. We got the game times and the schedule, so we'll get to that as well. Corey will also talk some Florida State football with me. The Florida State spring game coming up tomorrow at 4 o'clock at Doak Campbell Stadium. So a lot of new players for the Seminoles. So we'll chat a little bit about their spring game and maybe mix in a little Bucks as well. We'll be hitting the Rays, who get a big series win over the Angels. And what have we learned about the Rays so far this season? We've learned one thing. Their offense is not very good. The bullpen has not been very good, but somehow this team is 11-9. So lots to get to today. You guys jump in the comments, whatever you guys want to bring up, whatever topics you want to talk about, jump on in, and we'll hit those comments as well. So let's get it rolling here with the Rays yesterday. A 2-1 win over the Angels. Got a chance to kind of watch I haven't been able to watch a lot of games this year, but I got a chance to watch the game yesterday, and after a nice start by the Rays offensively, as Ahmed Rosario with a triple knocks in a couple of runs, and that was it. They go 8 innings scoreless after that, and Ryan Pepio in the bullpen for 3 innings made it stand up as they beat the Angels 2-1. They brought Poche in to close it because Fairbanks was all-encompassing suck the night before. We love that. So he was unavailable, supposedly. But that makes sense, right? He pitched 2 nights in a row and the 28 pitches the night before. So was he demoted? I don't think so, but it wasn't needed a day game after a night that he pitched 28. Probably best to give Fairbanks a day off. But Poche came in. He throws an 88-mile-an-hour changeup right down the middle of the plate that somehow Mike Trout did not put out of Tropicana Field. But he just got under it a smidge, hit it about 400 feet, but it didn't get out. And the Rays walked away with a 2-1 win. And now 11-9, so 2.5 games back of the Yankees, who started so fast. And they go to the Bronx this weekend to take on the Yankees. They'll have Savali, I believe, is pitching game 3. And Eflin will be pitching game 2. When you look at the matchups, I don't think they know who's pitching tonight. It was TBD as of yesterday. But when you look at the starting matchups over the weekend, certainly favors the Rays, but it's the offense that I worry about. Rosarena didn't play yesterday. No Isaac Paredes yesterday. These guys have been struggling mightily. And, without Brandon Lau in the lineup, of course, why we ever counted on that dude, I have no idea. Without him in the lineup, without Josh Lowe in the lineup, without Wander Franco in the lineup, it's just been pretty anemic offensively. And you wonder with the offense that the Yankees can put up, how are they going to compete? We shall see. Now, the Rays haven't exactly faced a murderer's row. I don't think the Angels are the best team in the league. But they're 11-9, and that's a great start for them given what they have done. The bullpen is the worst bullpen numerically in baseball. Have the worst ERA. The offense has been dreadful. Their big hitters aren't hitting. Yandy Diaz isn't hitting. Randy Arozarena isn't hitting. You worry a little bit about Arozarena because he so dramatically bulked up over the off season. How is that affecting his fast twitch in terms of his hitting? It just hadn't been good. So you hope that that's not going to be something that is long-standing, right? You hope that's not going to be long-standing. So we'll see how this offense starts to get going. But this weekend, when you're playing a team like the Yankees, you're going to have to put up 4, 5, 6 runs to win these games. And so far, the Rays really haven't been doing that. And they've won a lot of one-run games, a lot of low-scoring games. How long can that really last? I don't know. They're going to have to pick it up offensively here in a little bit. And thank God for Ahmed Rosario, right? They went out and got him, and he has been, their entire offense, it seems like. So another big day for him, and a good job by Ryan Pepiot. Ryan Pepiot was really, really good yesterday. We had 6 innings, gave up just 3 hits, 7 Ks. Outside of his first inning, he's been really, really good. And this is what they need. You trade a guy like Tyler Glass now, you got to get a dependable starter back. And Pepiot looks like that guy. They played well defensively yesterday, which I thought was really good. So let's check in with Kevin Cash, see if we can do this today. And we'll do a little post game with Kevin Cash, see how he thought the game went yesterday.
Did you see him doing so well?
Pretty strong performance. I don't think he felt that well going into the game. It's amazing how sometimes, people find out they got that extra gear, and he certainly put it in. Look, what he's done is just 4 starts now. Pretty impressive, really impressive. I mean, we couldn't ask for much more. You take away the first inning of his season, and even with that, he's just putting up really good numbers, throwing strikes at a high clip, getting his strikeouts, mixing his pitches well, and limited a team that, has swung the bats well against us.
2 runs in the first inning. Seems like Rosario's kind of been the guy coming through with big hits for you.
He certainly is. Seeing the ball well. I mean, he's kind of that guy in the lineup that you want up there right now. If you can handpick somebody to be up there with guys on base, he's giving good at-bats and hitting balls hard and hitting balls soft that we're finding hits.
Poche in the 9th, was that an issue of availability with Pete?
Yeah. Who you saw pitch today were the ones that were up. After that, we had Jacob there for coverage, but that's how we were lined up. Obviously, the bullpen has been pretty well used and taxed, so felt like we needed to back off a couple guys today. But those guys, Clevenger was awesome. Phil, good to see him come in there and get 3 outs, and then Poche settled a situation after the leadoff single. So nice, really, really nice job by those guys.
What was the difference for Matan?
I think what we've started to see early on in the season, the breaking balls were not breaking like kind of his MO throughout his career. Then they started breaking, but the command wasn't there. The shape was right, but he just couldn't land them. Now we're starting to see maybe the ability or today we saw that he was throwing them where he wanted to. I don't think he's fooling anybody. They all know that big sweeper is coming, but he's getting ahead with it and then getting them to expand once he's established it in the zone.
The defense did its job, too, especially that 3-6-1, I think, in the 4th inning after the Sano walk.
Yeah, nice play by Shenton there. I mean, he's worked hard over there. I mean, for not getting a ton of reps, it's just the way it goes right now. But that was a huge play by Pepiot to get over there and Cabby to give him a good throw. Everybody had to do their part. They did with Moniak coming down the line.
When you got Rosario, did you have any idea he could contribute this kind of offense for you guys?
I think so. I mean, he's been there, done it with the Guardians for 6 years, and just knowing Tito and talking to him about the type of player he is, the type of hitter he is, he's very bat to ball. I mean, similar profile to Harold in so many ways. And when those guys, start seeing the ball well, they can beat you to all fields. He's a tough guy to defend.
Harold made some good running grabs today. Is that his new fitness?
I don't know. I'll ask him. That's a very good question. But, he was moving good on the bases 4 nights ago, and now he's taking it out into the outfield. But, look, we have our, defense that we generally go with, but to be able to plug him out there and make the nice plays that he did today is a huge benefit for us.
When you said Pepio wasn't feeling that good coming in, is there something he said early on, or just something about the way he looked that gave you that indication?
He was throwing up before the game. Yeah.
That would indicate, yeah.
Yeah. Don't get too close to him when you go interview him.
That's good enough.
Good enough.
Did he say he still wanted to go out there even though he felt sick?
He didn't have a choice. He was taking regardless.
Kevin, the last road trip went pretty well. What are you going to have to do this weekend in New York to continue that?
Well, I mean, look, they're playing really good baseball, without a doubt. They're a talented team, as they are every year. Feels like we go up there, we've got a lot of back and forth with them. It'll be exciting to get in that atmosphere and play. I believe they're division lead right now, I think, as we stand.
Courtesy of Bally Sports Sun. Thank you, guys. Bob Hansen, News Channel 8, with that last question there about the Yankees. Appreciate that as we look ahead. But Pepio's situation, kind of interesting, and I love Cash's answer. It's like, yeah, he had no choice. Like, who else are we going to start? You throw it up a little bit, and is he okay? Did he want to pitch? It's like Cash is old school. It's like, yeah, so what? You done? You done throwing up? Get out there and pitch. Right? You can do it. It's no big deal, right? Away you go. They had a little thing on SportsCenter today about that as well. Yeah, of course. Sometimes you just got to go. Michael Jordan in the flu game. But Pepio looked great. Maybe as I look back, maybe a little pale. But he looked great. He pitched fantastically well. Now, Canning was on the mound. I'm watching the beginning of the game. I'm like, Canning, and they're showing his ERA, and he's like 9 ERA. I'm like, okay, great. Now the chance for the Rays to put up some crooked numbers. And he goes 5 innings and gives up 4 hits. Obviously they're going to face some better pitchers than that. And this offense really, really concerns me right now. So, but at 11-9, you cannot, you can look at this 2 ways with the Rays. They have played their C-, maybe even D+ game, and they've won 11 out of 20 games, which is not 13-0 like last year, but it's given the offense and what their better hitters are doing, and the fact that 3 of their better hitters are on the shelf right now, with Wander Franco being way on the shelf, then, you got it at 11-9, you'll take it. You'll take it. But this will be a big litmus test this week to go up there and take on the Yankees. And as Rick says in our comments, and by the way, you can jump on YouTube or Facebook or @FanStreamJP on Twitter, and you can comment. We'll put your comments up here. Rick says, I told Yankee fans that Rays can be in first with a sweep this weekend. Their response, 27 championships, bro. Typical. Well, when you got that to fall back on, that's probably something you should try and use, and they do often as they can. Haven't done squats since what? 09? What's the last time they did anything? But the billions and billions of dollars they've spent in salary, I wouldn't be crowing too much, Yankee fan. You got a nice start. We'll see where it goes. And this weekend's going to be big. And that's insane, though, to think that the Rays, if they swept the Yankees, and they typically have played pretty well at Yankee Stadium, could be in first place the way they've played and the way their offense has gone. Again, whatever it is the Rays do during the regular season, they are absolute magicians. And so far, so good. Let's do one more interview here. This is Ryan Pepio with the great Rich Hollenberg. after the game.
Like for you when your team scores you 2 runs before you even think about it after the first inning's over?
Yeah, I mean, it's great. You get a little run support early, and all your job as a starting pitcher is just keep the guys in the ball game. So they give me a little run support early. It just makes it a lot easier to go out there and attack the zone.
I know you've been saying this. Kevin Cash has been saying this. There are a lot of positives to take away, regardless of the outcome of your start so far this season. What was working best for you this afternoon?
Today we just mixed it up a little bit. Threw a lot of sliders, and then mixing the fastball and changeup. So, trying to keep them off balance and then get some early quick outs, and we got a few of those today.
So you went 6 strong. That matches your season high, and then you hand it over to a bullpen. They go the final 3, shut out baseball. What's it like to watch that?
No, we got some electric guys in the bullpen. It's fun to watch. You get in there and you get to see the stuff on TV and how crazy the ball moves when some of the ways they throw. But it's a great feeling when you can hand over a lead to the guys in the bullpen. I know they're gonna hold it down.
All right, thank you to the folks at Valley Sports Sun and Rich Hollenberg for that. Ryan Pepio, he was really good. The slider was electric. I think he had 14 swings and misses, most of those on the slider. With an Angels offense, it's been pretty good. So big win, big series. You take you go 4-3 against the Angels. Now, if it comes down to a tiebreaker at the end of the year for a postseason spot, that helps you. I don't know if the Angels are going to be in the mix. I doubt it very seriously, but at least it helps you right there. And we'll see what happens this weekend in the Bronx. Be watching for sure. All right. The Lightning, we have the new schedule out, by the way. And as expected, we're going to be playing home games on Thursday and Saturday. I'll give you the exact times here. Of course, the first game is going to be game 1, 12:30. Yikes. On Sunday. In case you just want to screw up your entire weekend plans. Thank you for that, NHL. Yeah, so we got Sunday at 12:30. And then game 2 will be on Tuesday down in Sunrise. And you guys going to the games, by the way? Anybody heading down there to go to the Rat Palace and check out some of those? I've never been to a game down there. Never been to a game. And I'll say this. If we get to a game 7, we might do. Maybe even game 5. Who knows? So game 2 will be on Tuesday. Then game 3 will be 7 o'clock at Amalie Arena on Thursday night. Then Saturday at 5 at Amalie Arena. Another earlier game. It's 5 o'clock and 12:30. We're going to get all the crappy times, right? And then game 5 will be down in Sunrise April 29th. So that'll be Monday. And then game 6 will be back here on that Wednesday, May 1st. And then May 4th would be the game 7. So as I just make sure these dates. So yeah, games Saturday is going to be at 12:30. And then we get those other games will follow. So there you go. I mean, it'll be interesting matchup too. We'll be talking to Corey Long about this in just a second. He'll be jumping on around 10:30. It'll be, I think when you look at this matchup and you look at the regular season games, I was talking about this with Brian Engblom the other day on our post-game show. And I asked him this. I said, what about those final 2 games? Florida came in here and laid one on the Bolts, scoring 9 goals. How does that hit you? And then you go down to Sunrise and you win a game, and Vasi has 49 saves. And they outshoot the Lightning 50-15, 50-14, I think it was. It was, I think, the biggest disparity they've ever had in shots on goal. The Florida forecheck is formidable. There's no question about it, and they've got some really, really good players. Interesting enough, I was looking at the ESPN top 50 players in the playoffs, and they had Kucherov at number 6 in the top 50 players. The presumed MVP, and their top 50 players in the playoffs, ESPN has Kucherov ranked number 6. And then you don't get to another Lightning player until 22, Hedman, Vasi at number 30, Steven Stamkos at 33, and Braden Point at 34. So a tremendous lack of respect given to the Lightning players with most of them who have two rings on their fingers, but whatever, I guess they're old, they're over the hill, whatever. Doesn't matter what ESPN thinks. Doesn't matter what Vegas thinks they got the Panthers at a minus 170. The Lightning, I think, at a plus 145 for the series odds. And, that means absolutely nothing. It's more about matchups. And, clearly the regular season, those last two games did not go as John Cooper wanted. But the good thing is you get in the film room, get in the preparation time, and the Lightning will come out with a plan. And that the biggest thing they have to kind of stop is that forecheck and get more get the puck out of the zone and flip it and get back on offense. That's going to be a huge key. And that's hard against Florida. They're a heavy team. They come at you hard. But that whole idea of get the defenseman down low and try to get that puck out and get it gone. Because the longer Florida stays in your zone and cycles that puck and just wears you down, that's how they get you. And then they've got some obviously very skilled players to put it in the back of the net. So with Bennett and Reinhart and all these guys, they're good. They're really, really good hockey team. That's why they won the Atlantic Division. Well, of course, Boston kind of tanked those last couple of games because they wanted no part of Tampa Bay. But that's another story for another time. But this is the matchup that you get. And look, the Lightning have had their way with the Panthers in the playoffs. The Panthers have never beat them. So, until they do, it's advantage Lightning. And I think with the experience that this team has in the playoffs, and I got to believe a little bit that the Panthers, kind of feel like, even though I think they've had their way with the Lightning the last couple of games in terms of the 5-on-5, they got to feel a little bit like, damn, do we really want to play this team that, had to get going on 11-2-1 run to get into the playoffs? And that's the Lightning I expect to see. The team of the last 5 games that once they clinched, they just, they're pros. They know what the deal is. They weren't going to improve their playoff position. So there's no sense in going out there and busting your ass for a bunch of meaningless games. I know it's frustrating for the fans to watch. I know, but you want to just stay healthy, do that. And unfortunately they didn't. And that to me is the biggest issue right now with this Tampa Bay team is the health of Luke Glendening. They're practicing this morning. We'll see if we get any reports from the morning skate and their practice and see if Glendening is out there. I have not seen any reports of it just yet. Obviously, we're doing the show here live, so I'll check on that in the break. But it's very interesting. It'll be very interesting because not only is he your best penalty killer, but he's your best faceoff guy as well. And we saw this in the playoffs last year against Toronto. The Lightning really, really struggled to win some key faceoffs late in games. And if I'm not mistaken, those 3 overtime losses at home, most every one of those were a product of losing, defensive zone faceoffs that turned into goals. So, that's why they went out and got Luke Glendening. And the fact that he has a shoulder issue, and I shared this the other day on the show when Brian Engblom was explaining this to me, when you're talking about if you injured your shoulder and they have a brace on it, we're speculating, of course, because we just watched the injury when nobody's going to say anything about it, right? You're not going to get any information on it, but just in watching what happened as he went into the boards and it went up and you could see that it appeared to be some type of shoulder injury. That's going to affect your strength and your face-offs. And will he, even if he plays, will he be effective in the face-off circle? It's something we're going to have to watch. I believe Nick Paul was kind of filling in on that the other day, did a pretty good job. But I think that's going to be a huge part of this series breakdown. So can't wait for game 1 coming up on Sunday. Wish it wasn't at 12:30 on my Sunday afternoon as we all do, but we'll be hunkered down, getting ready to watch some playoff hockey. Cannot wait to see this whole thing unfold. And, and the rivalry with the Panthers just gets better and better and better. And the more animosity we get, and I think you'll see it early on. And I think if you're the Lightning, you want to show that you're not going to be beat up in this series. You want to show that you can be a heavy team as well. You want to go out there and throw your weight around. When the Lightning were playing their best hockey, I thought they were very aggressive in their hits. I think they had 56 hits in one game against Toronto last time they played them. When it was during that run where they had to get in, make that run to get into the playoffs, they beat them 4-2. It was one of their better games. And that to me is the Lightning playing at their best when they're hitting. They're bringing the body, especially in the forecheck and in the defensive end, and taking guys out instead of playing that positional hockey. That's what you got to do against the Panthers, because they're going to come after you. Tkachuk, the whole group, they're going to come after you. So it's going to be intense. It's going to be high intensity. This is what the NHL wants with these rivalries, these Atlantic Division rivalries, and this is what they're going to get. And I'm here for it for sure. And by the way, Kucherov, as we had hoped and expected, wraps up the Art Ross Trophy for most points. Just a historic season, 144 points, 44 goals, 100 assists. It's just an amazing accomplishment. And for a team that's going into the playoffs, this, if he doesn't win, I think the voting starts today, right at the end of the regular season. If he doesn't win the MVP, it's a complete travesty. He participated. I think I saw yesterday, the guys from Spit and Chicklets were talking about this. He was part of 50% of the Lightning goals. And it's not like 50% of a team that didn't score a lot. The Lightning were 5th in the league in goals per game. So he participated in 50% of their goals. That's an amazing number. That's an insane amount of number. That's an MVP number. And what's also interesting is against the top 10 competition, the top 10 teams in the league, that's where he averaged 2 points per game. He averaged about 2 points per game against the top 10 teams in the league. When you go and look at some of the other guys, they're doing their damage against, teams 24 to 30. They're doing it at the bottom of the kind of the bottom feeders, whereas Kucherov had his best games against the best teams. I think that's another notch in his belt for the MVP. And good on the Lightning fans for getting that chant going the other day during the nationally televised TNT game, because I think it's absolutely, without question, the numbers stack it up. He's the MVP. You can look at McKinnon, you can look at McDavid, and they did have historic seasons as well. But the Lightning are going to get a little short-shrifted when it comes to a lot of this. You see that in every poll. I just gave you the ESPN, player poll. That's just the way it is, and it's the way it's going to be. And it doesn't matter, because at least in hockey, you don't have to worry about, do you make the playoffs? Are you part of the ranking system? You go out there and you win, and they'll have a great opportunity to do that against the Panthers. Cannot wait. So Glendening hopefully will be healthy, and Mott as well. Tyler Mott has not played since he took a shot on the ankle. We'll see if he's practicing. Those two guys are going to be needed, because obviously in the playoffs, you need that down scoring, a more even scoring, your penalty kill. Both of those guys are your top two guys on the penalty kill. So health is going to be a big part of this as we head into this series with the stinking Panthers. All right. I'm going to take a quick break. We'll come back on the other side, and Corey Long is going to join us, and we'll talk some hockey and maybe a little college football and some Bucks draft as well. We're brought to you by the Jeeves Law Group. They are local, they are trusted, and they get results. We got Scott Jeeves on yesterday talking about the FSU lawsuit. He was also quoted in the Times as well today. We'll get to some of that. There have been some developments on the FSU lawsuit, so we'll talk a little bit more of that as we go through. But if you have any legal questions, legal issues at all, it's the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVES lawgroup.com. And just go to their website, contact them through the website. They'll give you a free case evaluation for whatever you might need in the legal realm. All right, back in 3 minutes with Corey Long. Stay with us. JP here for my friends at your local Synovus Bank. And I do mean friends, and I do mean local. One of the local managers in Tampa is John Acosta, big fan of the show, and I've known him for over 40 years. He's been in local banking since 1983. You talk about developing relationships. You don't stick around for that long unless you're doing things the right way and have a great reputation. And that's the focus company-wide at Synovus. Big enough to handle any complex international transaction, but small enough to answer the phone when you have an urgent question about your business or personal account. And for personal accounts, they have a very easy app that works great. You can do everything online. And for large or small businesses, you will get that personal touch and services to help build your business. taking your dreams and aspirations from the whiteboard to reality. We can make that happen. Let us show you how. For a get-acquainted meeting to open a business or personal account, just call John or go to Synovus.com to find out where your local branch is. Everyone knows Italiano Insurance is your go-to for home insurance, but they also have an amazing team that focuses on business insurance. Yes, your business is most likely your biggest asset, so make sure you have the right coverage at the most competitive price. And if you started a side hustle recently, don't forget you need business insurance, because if you get sued in this over-litigious society we live in, you could lose all your personal wealth. So get that business insurance. And for the best customer service, always choose Italiano. My representative, Charity, is amazing. I called her late on a Friday because my insurance was going to lapse. She stayed late until the job was done. You just don't find that anymore. Give them a call, 813-877-7799. That's 813-877-7799. Italiano Insurance. JP here for the Geddes Gordon Real Estate Group and our good friend Jane Geddes. Folks, simply put, there is nobody like Jane. Jane is a former LPGA two-time major championship winner. She was also vice president of talent relations at WWE. She also has a law degree from Stetson. So if Jane can drain a 10-footer to win the U.S. Open and stare down Hulk Hogan in the boardroom, you want Jane on your real estate team to not only negotiate the best deal, but find you the perfect home or investment property. And when you work with the Geddes Gordon Group, you become part of the real estate family and get concierge services that include expertly staging, marketing, and preparing your home for sale. Advice on golf properties. Hey, you might even get some golf tips. Many of their clients become friends long after the sale or purchase is completed. It's all part of the deal. So if you're looking for that perfect home or investment property or try to get top dollar for your home, go with Jane Geddes and the Geddes Gordon Group, because there's nobody like Jane. Call 813-485-6808 or go to GeddesGordon.kw.com. That's GEDDES Gordon.kw.com. or call 813-485-6808.
With over 34 years of producing small and large events, Extravaganza Productions is truly a Tampa treasure when it comes to creating some of the very best events in Tampa and all across the United States. I've worked with them at the Florida Sports Hall of Fame inductions, the Warrior Games, which was an Olympic-sized event spread across all of Tampa Bay. They are the very best, from small meetings to exceptionally large corporate conferences to galas, fundraisers, sporting events, grand openings, whatever you want. Team EPI has an extremely talented staff of designers and show producers that develop extraordinary events fueled by the visions of their clients. You can reach them at their Tampa headquarters at 813-621-4700 or go to extravaganzaproductions.com.
Let's go. Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show here on this Friday. Well, even make it a little bit of a football Friday as we talk some spring football with our good friend Scott Carter from FloridaGators.com. What's up, Scotty? How are you?
Hey, good morning, JP. Doing well. Just got through with spring football last weekend. Now I'm in Fort Worth, Texas with NCAA gymnastics. So the Gators always keep me busy, man. Can't imagine two different cultures. College football, college gymnastics, but it's fun.
Well, you know what? They're becoming very close in terms of their social media presence. And I was watching this last night, gymnastics. I'm watching college gymnastics. I never thought I would. I never thought I'd watch a lot of college women's basketball, but I love watching Caitlin Clark, and women's basketball is so much better than it's ever been. So there's a lot of interest, is there not? That's why you're there, right? There's a lot of interest.
No, there is. I mean, the Gators gymnastics is definitely one of the best shows on campus. The O-Dome is packed regularly with 9,000-10,000 people when they.
How about that?
And then out here, they've got Fort Worth is trying to kind of become the center for the NCAA championships. They've got a great arena out here, Dickey's Arena. City does a really nice job. But you're right. There was a couple of questions last night for the Gators after the meet. To your bigger point about what's it like to be kind of a female college athlete right now with how the sports are trending, with what you said, women's basketball, Caitlin Clark has never been more popular. Gymnastics is right there at the top of all the female sports in college. And they have so many opportunities in the NIL, and they do it right. And I think these sports Football and basketball, it's turned into more pay for play. But I think what the NIL was set up, the way the people imagine it, is the way a lot of these young women are taking advantage of it. And I'm just always so impressed, like what they accomplish when they're 20, 21.
Yeah.
You know what I was doing when I was that age. I was not doing anything that was nearly as significant as what they are.
Dude, my keg stand was on point when I was 21, bro. I was nailing it every Saturday at the front. So come on, I was doing big things. You were too. Come on.
Yes.
So you got the sensation that is Olivia Dunn at LSU, the gymnast out there. So have you seen her and her following? Is it real as we see on Instagram?
It is real. I mean, she is popular. They came through Gainesville earlier this season, the regular season.
Okay.
And I mean, I've been doing this for a while now up here in Gainesville.
Yeah.
I remember walking out, where you exit the O-Dome in the back, and their team bus was out there. And I've never seen, any fans out there after a meet. Man, there was dozens of people out there just waiting to get her autograph or picture.
How about that?
And I've seen her out here too last year, and I mean, she has a big draw. Believe me, it's real. And she's one of those. It's the closest thing I can have to compare. You probably will get this reference, but it was like Anna Kournikova, back in the day.
Yeah, remember it well.
A beautiful woman, had a lot of fans. She was marginal player, kind of a role player on a team. It's kind of what Livy Dunn is, but obviously in today's world, you can
market it.
Yeah. So good for her.
Interesting. So I didn't even know that they put like 10,000 in the O-Dome for gymnastics meets as well.
Yeah, I mean the O-Dome has been selling out gymnastics meets regularly for several years, and really it took another level when the Gators won 3 consecutive national titles back from 13 to 15, and then Jenny Rowland comes in, and she's just a really fan-friendly coach, and the fans love this team, and again. They like teams that are good, JP. And
right.
Here we are at the national championship. So
yeah, winning. So what are they? The 4th seed, I think, right? The Florida Gators.
They are the 4th overall seed in the NCAA tournament. Now they're in the Final Four. So it's LSU, Florida, Cal, and Utah. So the Gators beat Utah and LSU during the year. But it's a different animal out here. So we'll see. And you saw, I don't know. Last night was like in college gymnastics, the equivalent of that would be like the 85 Bears showing up to the Super Bowl and giving up 60 points. I mean, what happened last night with Oklahoma was really a
they flopped.
Yeah, it was a
flopped. Yeah,
scenes you just don't see very well.
Yeah, I was watching it. Like the first girl did the vault. We're doing like 10 minutes on women's gymnastics. I love this. The first girl, I was watching it, and she fell on her butt. And the next Oklahoma girl did the same thing. It was like one right after another, and you're like, holy hell, what the hell is that? You think some of these girls, guys, whatever, are just impervious to the pressure because they do it so much, but they're not. I mean, they get nervous. It's hard to do.
Yeah, I know every time you start to think they're robots.
Yeah, right.
They remind you, you know what? They're not. The Oklahoma coach last night, she said that, hey, we're human. It stinks that it happened here, but we're human, and we got to get it together. But it can happen at anybody at any time, and that's part of what sports makes it so interesting for us, right? We always think we know what's going to happen, JP, but we really don't.
No, we don't. And as we transition into the Florida football season and spring practice, I mean, obviously the biggest questions are about the quarterback position. I watched a little bit of the replay, and what jumps out at you, obviously, with DJ Lagway is just his athleticism, his size, the fluidity of his movements, and here we are talking about a guy who should still be in high school. And he's the prize, right? And Graham Mertz, I mean, all he did was complete 70% of his passes last year, have a fantastic year. And all we want to do is talk about DJ Lagway, right? That's kind of the way it is.
Yeah, he's a shiny new toy. And, that is the way it is. It's the way it's always been and always will be in college football with the quarterback position. But where the Gators are as a program, JP, I mean, obviously they've been in a tough spot the last 3 years. 3 straight losing seasons. So everybody is ready for that. When are the Gators going to be back? And DJ Lagway is kind of the poster boy for that right now.
Yeah.
I think they're in really good shape with Graham Mertz this year. Graham Mertz has been really, I think, better than advertised since he's been at Florida. He's a true team leader on a team that, needs some leadership.
Yeah.
He put up the production on the field last year. When you look at what caused Florida to go 5-7 a season ago, it wasn't the offense or Graham Mertz. I mean, it was the defense and just some key mistakes on special teams that kept creeping up that really cost this team in some key situations. So I like where they are overall in the quarterback spot with Mertz as a starter, Lagway, the young guy, the change of direction guy. Maybe you give a series or two. Everybody's kind of comparing it to the 2006 Gators when you had Chris Leak as a starter, and then Tim Tebow, this phenom who got his spots when it really mattered in a game. And I think we can see some of that with DJ Lagway this year, because one thing he brings instantly is just a big, athletic, mobile quarterback. But in the spring game, I'd watched him several times throughout camp at practice, and there were days where I thought, okay, this guy, he's got some tools. And then there were days where he looked like a guy who had just got to UF. Right. But I thought his best overall performance from just throwing the ball, I mean, he made a couple of throws in that game that I was like, oh, that's a nice throw there, whether or not it's a spring game or not. So it was something that gave the Gators fans, I think, some positivity to go into the offseason, and really something they needed.
Yeah. What is the lingering effect of Etienne transferring and God forbid to your freaking chief rival? It made for a lot of great memes and all, but now the Gators have to deal with this on a real level. Psychologically, obviously from a personnel standpoint, it hurts you. Where's the running back room, and how does that whole thing play into this season?
Yeah. Well, I think, this is college football. There's there's going to be some bitterness there from Florida fans until the grave for some of them. That's the way it works. Yeah. Now, in terms of the realities of it, I mean, Trevor Etienne, I thought he was their best player last year on offense, him and Ricky Pearsall. Mm-hmm. But running backs are kind of like the dime a dozen. If you can replace the running back pretty quick. So they still have Montrell Johnson Jr., who I think is an excellent number one back. And then during the spring game, quite frankly, one of the things that I learned was they're going to be fine at the running back. Jaden Ball, the true freshman, I mean, he had a really nice game and made some plays that you instantly you saw that this guy is a player. And quite frankly, I don't know if he can catch like Etienne, but what I saw in the running game, I think they've already found their guy there if they
there you go.
Play. So I don't think it's going to be a big factor in the what product on the field. But I do think it stung in a way that you don't like to get stung, man.
Right, right.
Losing a player to Georgia? Are you serious? But it happened, and that's just where the sport is, and that's you're probably going to see more of that. I can only imagine. Let's say a guy goes from Texas to Oklahoma or vice versa. I'd be like, "Welcome to the SEC, guys."
Exactly. Yeah. and what do I see on my Twitter this morning? Jaden Rashada, the one-time Florida recruit, much ballyhooed NIL deal, is now headed out of Arizona, and where's his number one destination? Georgia. So
yes, it's amazing where the sport is, and
and
I mean it's in some ways it's great for fans and the media, because man, there's more to talk about and write about than ever before. But I understand where fans are like, you like to get to know these guys a little bit better. Yeah. And in Rashada's case, I mean that's just been I have a feeling that maybe he'll be one of those guys that goes to 3 or 4 schools.
Yeah, I do too.
It's
just
like
keep chasing the money.
That's where I think his career's headed. So we'll see. But I was joking with one of the people internally the other day who runs the UF Athletic Hall of Fame, and I'm like, how many more years before you guys kind of run out of people who were actually here for a long time, and do you have to induct a guy who had one good year, his last year?
Exactly.
Where does that go,
Well, and look at Florida State. I mean, DJ Uiagalelei comes from Clemson, right? That's the last time we saw him, your chief ACC rival, and now he's your quarterback via Oregon State. Yeah, it's just it's the way of the future, unfortunately, for college football until they fix it. Mm-hmm. Which we'll go over that on another day on another show. Yeah. Trey Wilson also had a huge spring game. Tampa's own Trey Wilson. he had a great freshman season, but he looks like, he is growing into that role as a number one receiver and is going to be fantastic. Talk a little bit about his spring game and where you see him next year.
Yeah, well, I said earlier that I thought Etienne and Ricky Pearsall were their best players last year. I think Trey Wilson's their most exciting and dangerous player this year. He showed some of that in the spring game, and we saw it last year. The guy had 61 catches, but again, a lot of them were little quick dumps and just let him do what he can. I think you're going to see him get down the field a little more this year. And you always just know there's just certain guys that have that little it factor, and I've seen that with Trey since he got here. You could tell he knows the game. He's got the skill set that you want at that position, and he's going to be it's going to be exciting to watch. He's going to be a guy they can build a lot of the offense around, and then you add a more experienced offensive line. You got your experienced quarterback. I think the offense is going to be fine. The questions I have are more on defense. How are they going to, stop people? Because I do think they'll be okay with Mertz and company on offense, but they got to get to the point. I mean, the schedule's so tough, JP. I mean, they're going to have to. Brutal. They're going to have to stop people.
Yeah. I mean, the schedule itself. This has become such a huge conundrum because Napier's got to win games. And I don't. I hate to ask that question. Is he on the hot seat? Every coach is on the freaking hot seat, it seems like, in college football, right? Yeah. And I understand that there haven't been winning seasons, but you got to judge this team more than just by wins and losses this year, right? I mean, you have to watch how they play, how they compete, how players are developing before you start, saying if he doesn't win 6 games, he's out, right?
Yeah. I think that's a fair way to look at it. I don't know if there's many fans who have that outlook because you hear the safe stuff I hear.
Yeah, no patience.
But I think when you're at Florida and you're 11-14 after 2 seasons, you're gonna be in the oven, man. And they do have to win games. They have to play better. I do like the roster where he's going. And I've said this to you before on the show. I like everything about Billy, what he's done with the program and the big picture. He's really brought some stability and I think character to what he's trying to do. And quite frankly, not every program or coach even cares about some of that stuff. Having said that, you got to win games. And is this roster good enough to jump up 2 or 3 wins this year? I think in a normal season, yeah, I would say it would be. But when you look at that schedule, it's going to be very difficult for them to go from 5 wins to 8 or 9 just because of caliber competition. So, again, we started this conversation off with talking about gymnastics and how weird last night was. I've seen weird things happen, so you can't discount the possibility they can show us significant improvement. But it's going to be a difficult task, and if they are that 5-7, 6-6, even if it looks a lot better and they lose a lot of games that are close, I think there's going to be some kind of change. I just don't know if it's where it is, but yeah, he's got a tough job right now. He really does.
He really does. And the schedule doesn't do him any favors. And I just think, patience is something that is not the norm, especially in the SEC. Yeah. We get all that, but you look, there are people screaming for Mike Norvell's head right after the first couple of years, and look what they did to turn it around. So, I think it would be foolish to just judge him just on wins and losses next year. You got to look a little bit further because he continues to get, where if the rankings of the classes aren't as high as some people think, he's getting a lot of 5-star players. And those are the guys that win games in the SEC. Those guys are the difference makers. And if you can get a few of those guys and keep them on campus, you can turn this around pretty quickly. And, it's not just DJ Lagway. There's other players there as well that talk a little bit about some of these other highly recruited guys, maybe how they played in the spring game or what you project for them.
Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, I looked out there this spring and I saw some players that I was used to seeing Florida get a few years ago.
Right.
And LJ McCray on the defensive line is one of them instantly. The guy looks like one of those players that you just used to see at Florida regularly. Miles Graham, the linebacker, is another one, although he had a back procedure during spring, so he shut it down to be ready for the fall. You could tell the caliber of player straight out of high school. Those 2 guys are big time
They
players.
look the part. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
and did a nice job in the transfer portal. They really beefed up the secondary. Asa Turner, the guy from Washington at safety, a guy who, he's a big looking safety back there, like Florida had a few years ago with guys like Keanu Neal or Marcus May.
Yeah.
So I think defensively, they just look like a more physical unit. And there's going to be some learning curves with the young players, but they've also got a mix of veterans there that could help. Shamar James at linebacker, Jason Marshall Jr. in the secondary. They brought in a Ivy League Player of the Year, Joyce Slackman. It'll be interesting to see how that translates to the SEC.
Yeah.
But, I watched him some during the spring game, and he certainly fills up some space up front and as a physical player. So they're moving in the right direction on defense. I think they've brought Ron Roberts in as he's the inside linebackers coach, but he's also the associate head coach. He was Austin Armstrong's protege at Louisiana when Napier was there. He's really well respected in college football circles. So for his defensive mind, so I think they made the changes they needed to. Now it's all about going out and producing.
Scott Carter joining us here from FloridaGators.com. There's something special going on at the Florida baseball field as well. I got to ask you about this cat, Caglione. Is that how you say his name?
Matt Caglione, yes.
What the hell? What the hell is going to do? There was rumors, or I saw it on Twitter, that he hit a 515-foot home run the other day. Has that been confirmed? And he had 7 games in a row with home runs. What's going on?
He had another one last night at Vanderbilt. It's 8 in a row, so he's one off the NCAA record. So if he can homer today, he'll tie the NCAA record for 9 straight games with the home run. But Caglione, I mean, he's a phenomenal talent. If you see him, I mean, he looks like he'd be a great defensive end or tight end. He's 6'4", 245, just a big, strong kid, and he throws the baseball at 98, 99 miles per hour left-handed, and he's probably the best pure power hitter in college baseball. So the guy is going to be a very rich young man in about, 2-3 months when the major league draft. He'll be in the top 2 or 3 picks, if not the number 1 overall pick. But the Gators as a team, I mean, they've struggled some since the SEC. Their pitching just isn't where it's accustomed to being, and they've got some players on offense that are having seasons, but none other than Caglione. And you'd like to see him maybe get hot and allow him to play in the postseason. Before, he was out in Omaha, and he knows what the College World Series is like. Got on that stage last year. But as a guy from he's just another product of a great baseball school down in Tampa, Plant High School. I mean, Jack Caglione, the Gators, just Gators, Preston Tucker, Pete Alonso. All the way goes back to Wade Boggs. I mean, it's amazing the players they put out.
Yeah, but that is an absolute baseball factory over there, and these guys are making big strides in the major leagues, and it's incredible to see. These guys aren't like just pretty good players. They're all-stars. They're home run champions. They're the best in the league, right?
Yeah, I mean, Caglione, Alonso. I mentioned Preston Tucker because he played with the Gators, but his brother Kyle, who's the better major leaguer. I mean, right there, you put Tucker.
All-star.
Yeah, you put Tucker and Alonso in a lineup together, man. That's pretty impressive. So
yeah, they had a fundraiser in the offseason. It's like an MLB All-Star game over there.
Yeah,
just having all the alumni come back. So
yeah.
Well, Scotty, great stuff as always, my friend. Enjoy the gymnastics. Tell everybody what's going on FloridaGators.com, where they can get all your content.
Yeah, just follow me on X. It's now at GatorsScott, or FloridaGators.com is their online home. So we're always there. I'll be out here for the next couple of days and then get back to Gainesville and write a big Jack Caglione story.
There you go. There you go. All right, partner. Appreciate you. Have a good time out there. Tell Olivia I said hello. Get us some video of the throngs of fans over there for hers as well. Appreciate it. Scott Carter there, FloridaGators.com. Plant High School just continues to put out incredible talent. It's not just Plant; it's all over this area, and it's because of the great coaching we have and the depth of the little leagues and everything else. It's pretty impressive when you look at just per capita, the major leaguers that have come out of here. Very impressive. Not only the number, but the quality of the players. And he's just another one. So, all right, we will take a break. Corey Long's going to join us next. We'll get into some FSU football. We'll get into, obviously, a little bit more in the Lightning Panther series and much more. We are brought to you by the great folks at Bay Area Modern Medical Center. Chris Lugo and his team will get you right, get your testosterone right. For ladies and men, by the way, get your nutrition right. They'll come up with a nutritional plan for you once they look at your blood work and decide what you're deficient in, what supplements you need. Everything is personalized just for you, and that's the big difference at Bay Area Modern Medical Center. Plus, they concentrate on keeping you well, not just getting you well when you're sick or you have an issue, but staying well so you don't have those issues. And that's something that they've really helped me with my supplements. So go to the website, Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Chris is going to join us on Tuesday, as he does on our Testosterone Tuesdays. We're going to talk about peptides. If you've been taking some of those and then they were recently taken off the shelf by the FDA, weird. We'll talk all about that, the peptides, what's good and what's not. We'll do that on our next installment with Bay Area Modern Medical Center's Chris Lugo on Tuesday. All right, back in 3 with Corey Long. Stay with us. JP here for the Jeeves Law Group and my man Scott Jeeves, who lives right here and has long been a highly respected member of our community. He's a proud sponsor of the Tampa Riverwalk. The Jeeves Law Group is also a proud sponsor of our Grand Central District in St. Pete and has neighborhood events throughout the year. He has an office on Central Avenue in St. Pete and one on South Howard in Tampa. You can't get more local than that. So when you need an attorney, you're going to hire some huge firm that advertises all over the state or the one that supports your favorite sports show. It's the Jeeves Law Group. We're local, we're trusted, and we get results. For personal injury and personal attention, call us for a free case evaluation. That's 8889-JEEVES. That's 8889-JEEVES. All right, this is for all you guys who don't want to go to the gym and do 5,000 crunches. At Bay Area Modern Medical Center, you can get on the new True Body machine where you can reduce fat and tone up your muscle. It's like doing 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Define your body as you see fit. True Body offers personalized muscle stimulation that delivers the equivalent of those 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Just get in touch with them at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Chris Lugo and the team over there will set you up on True Body and get amazing results. Non-invasive with comfortable and little to no pain and zero downtime. You can isolate and target those areas that you want to improve and treat multiple areas simultaneously. It's an amazing machine, so check it out at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. It's Diamond Days at the Gold and Diamond Source because April's birthstone is diamonds. As they take center stage, get up to 20% off all diamond jewelry. And our first-time buyers program will help you get educated about the 4 C's and all the different shapes and styles. And remember, you only want natural diamonds, folks. It takes billions of years to form a natural diamond. You don't want something that was made in a factory just a couple of weeks ago. And remember, your Gold and Diamond Source diamond never loses its value. You can always trade up at the Gold and Diamond Source for a bigger, better one. And they will spend the time to educate you about your diamonds and how to take care of them. And of course, consider the Gold and Diamond Source to maintain and insure your jewelry. They can professionally clean it, check the settings, and make any necessary repairs to keep your jewelry in top condition. It's the 40th anniversary of the Gold and Diamond Source, 3800 Omerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com.
Let's go! Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show here as we will await Corey Long's appearance here. In fact, we're going to take another quick break because we have to catch up on our breaks here today. So quick break, back in a second with Corey Long. Are you looking to be more productive and healthier? Do you know chronic dehydration affects your overall health and well-being? 75% of the U.S. population suffers from dehydration, and many of us don't even know it. That was me before I was introduced to Hydrate Heroes. 8 times the benefits with hydration. A beverage with benefits more than just hydration. That's right, 8 times the benefits with hydration. Hydrate Heroes provides a refreshing, great-tasting beverage powder to mix with water, providing elderberry, zinc, vitamin D, electrolytes, amla fruit, which provides a great source of vitamin C, along with a proprietary mushroom blend
that has shown to help increase endurance and energy at the cellular level. Hydrate Heroes is so confident you're going to love the taste and the results. They are offering our listeners a special offer, a free 3-pack sample, no credit card needed. Just go to the jppetersonshow.com, the jppetersonshow.com, and click on Hydrate Heroes logo. Hydrate for health today with Hydrate Heroes.
All right, this is for all you guys who don't want to go to the gym and do 5,000 crunches. At Bay Area Modern Medical Center, you can get on the new True Body machine where you can reduce fat and tone up your muscle. It's like doing 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Define your body as you see fit. True Body offers personalized muscle stimulation that delivers the equivalent of those 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Just get in touch with them at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Chris Lugo and the team over there will set you up on True Body and get amazing results. Non-invasive with comfortable and little to no pain and zero downtime. You can isolate and target those areas that you want to improve and treat multiple areas simultaneously. It's an amazing machine, so check it out at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com.
Everyone knows Italiano Insurance is your go-to for home insurance, but they also have an amazing team that focuses on business insurance. Yes, your business is most likely your biggest asset, so make sure you have the right coverage at the most competitive price. And if you started a side hustle recently, don't forget you need business insurance, because if you get sued in this over-litigious society we live in, you could lose all your personal wealth. So get that business insurance. And for the best customer service, always choose Italiano. My representative, Charity, is amazing. I called her late on a Friday because my insurance was going to lapse. She stayed late until the job was done. You just don't find that anymore. Give them a call, 813-877-7799. That's 813-877-7799. Italiano Insurance.
JP here for Extravaganza Productions. You know, I've worked with these pros on so many big and small events. They recently did the Kappa Alpha Psi Grand Reunion, the Tampa RV Show Exhibit. They did the Skills Center opening of Tampa Bay. They can do those small events. They do the biggest of events. So if you are thinking about planning a meeting or special event, call the talented staff at Team EPI. They will give you a free creative meeting if you mention the JP Peterson Show. They will provide you with an exceptional experience. Heck, they'll even show you their huge warehouse with great props. Anything you want. They'll do it on time and on budget. You can reach them at their Tampa headquarters at 813-621-4700 or go to extravaganzaproductions.com. Tell them JP sent you.
Let's go. Right now. Back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show on this Friday as we roll into a weekend where we're going to start playing some NHL hockey playoffs. I cannot wait. Although Sunday at 12:30, not the greatest time, but anytime's a great time to watch the Panthers and Lightning play some NHL hockey. We're waiting Corey Long. Hopefully he'll be joining us here in a little bit as the Lightning take the ice, by the way. I was just looking on Twitter, and Gabby Shirley was talking about today's practice starts at 11 o'clock. So Corey might be over there checking that out. And we'll see if Luke Glendening is on the ice. The status of Sergei, you know, he's been skating probably for about 3 weeks, maybe a month now, but no contact. Has been wearing the red jerseys. Of course, he had that nasty double break of his lower leg, and you know, at 4 to 6 weeks, bones heal. But to be put pressure on it, to be, you know, playing NHL hockey on it, it's a totally different thing. I haven't really, of course, in the NHL, you'll never hear much about injuries except upper or lower body. That's about all you get. So you just got to kind of speculate and kind of feel your way through it. And just judging from, you know, what folks have been saying, have been watching him skate, he looks good, looks really fluid on the ice. Whether he can come back is a whole nother deal. Personally, I would expect him, if they can get through the first round, maybe definitely to be back by the second round. It's going to be a tough order, tall order. But if they can get him back, you know, a guy that's won, you know, 2 Stanley Cups as an experienced defenseman and played very, very well, and would add a lot to their ability to get out of the zone, which is something that you've got to defeat that forecheck of the Panthers. So getting Sergei back would be absolutely huge. But, you know, as Brian Bradley said the other day on the show,
it's time for some of the young kids to really, really grow up. And I know Perbix has been around here for a while, Lilleberg, but they're going to be counted on and they're going to be targeted. As Brian said, there will be targeted. They'll be going after these younger players to see if they can handle the heat and the intensity of the playoffs. And the Lightning know that, and that's going to be a message from John Cooper to these guys. Be ready, because they're coming at you. But the Lightning they certainly don't fear the Panthers. They're not going into this situation. I'm certain they don't feel like they're a prohibitive underdog. They feel like they've got still have the best core in hockey. As I said earlier, when ESPN did their player rankings for the playoffs, they got Andrei Vasilevsky ranked as the 30th best player in the playoffs. And listen, if he's the 30th best player this year, the Lightning have no chance. But my thought is we're going to see the Andrei Vasilevsky that we saw during that run where they had to get into the playoffs, where he was locked in. His save percentage was around .923. His goals against were just over 2. And that's the way the Lightning have to play in the playoffs. And that's frankly what I expect them to do in the playoffs. Get to some of the comments here from you guys. And James, I don't like your comment at all, but I'll put it up here. Said, I don't see the Bolts winning the series. Great run, 11-2-1, but that was not here all season. That coupled with Vasi not being Vasi because of the injury is why. Hope I'm wrong, but next year will be better. Definitely a take that is not, that's completely reasonable, James. I get it. But we'll see. Vasi coming off the back injury, the first 2 months were not typical Vasi, but he went through that stretch where he got a hell of a lot better. So let's hope that's what we see. And I do think, look, this is a team that's, been to the finals 4 times during this run. Last year, obviously a first round exit, but this team knows when to turn it on and when not to. And they had to do it to get into playoffs, and they did it. All right, let's bring in our good friend Corey Long here. What's up, Corey? How are you, my friend?
I'm doing well. How you doing, buddy?
Good. I know the Lightning are just starting practice. I didn't know if you were headed over there or not. If you were going to be.
I am. I'll be there in a bit. I had to get a late start due to some other things this morning, so I'm just on the road right now.
Yeah. Well, we'll go along with you if you don't mind. Yeah.
Sure, that's fine. That's fine. So what was the last take that has y'all concerned?
In terms of Vasi?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the last commenter just said, the 11-1-2 run was great to get him into playoffs, but that's not who they were all season. And my feeling is like, look, this team knows when to flip the switch on and when to switch it off, and coast a little bit. And that's what they did at the end of the season. It doesn't have me worried. I think they played their best hockey when they had to, and that's what I expect to see in the playoffs. What about you?
Oh yeah, I mean the Panthers I think came in as an 8 seed last year. I mean they, you play how you play when you need to play that way, and that's the beauty of the NHL playoffs is that really once you get in, a lot of it just comes down to can your goalie play? Can your goalie steal a couple games? Can you get somebody with a hot stick? And if you get both of those things, you've got a very good chance. So I mean, I don't really. What they did all season is really irrelevant, in a lot of ways, and that's the way it was during their championship runs. I mean, they weren't number 1 seeds when they won either one of their cups. I mean, I think they were third in the bubble division. The year that they won the second cup, and then they just ran through teams. I mean, it just. Like, you know how good you are, and you know when you need to play, and you know when you need to rest. And guys might spend a few more days on the injury list when they know that they've got some time to they've got a little bit of wiggle room. So
I agree.
These guys are super professionals. They know what to do at this point. Like, I think people. Yeah, they lost in the first round last year. And, I mean, I'll tell everybody, they outplayed Toronto in that series quite significantly, I thought. But here's the thing. I give Toronto the credit. Their top guys made plays when they needed to, and that was the difference in that series. Is that Matthews got the goal when he needed. Tavares got the goal, and that particular series, Point and Kucherov didn't play well at all, and they still really should have won it. That showed you how well they played as a team. Now, this is a whole different. Every year is different. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and say I didn't want the Boston series. I wanted the Boston series. All right.
And Boston wanted no part of Tampa Bay. I think that's
Boston smartly realized that they were getting hoodwinked and decided to dump their last couple of games and get out of that situation. So smart on them after what happened to them last year. They've obviously wisened up a little bit. But yeah, Florida is, metrically, they're a considerable better team 5-on-5, which is always a bit of a death deal in playoff hockey. But the first round, you tend to get some penalties. Later rounds, you don't. But the first round, refs tend to call it a little bit more like they call a regular season game. So you tend to get some power plays. There tend to be a little bit more of a free-flowing game in the first round. Later rounds it gets really tight, but the first round I think you're gonna get some opportunities. So the thing is they can't go through segments of games where Florida just dominates the zone play, and every time they played them this year, Florida's went through just long stretches of killing them in the zone, and whether they got goals or not, they were just able to control the puck and get them on, and keep their skaters out there for really long shifts and wear them down, and that's their ability. They're a very, very good team. The Florida Panthers are an excellent team. They're so much better than they were last year in a lot of areas. So there's that concern, but you're going to face a good team in the playoffs.
Exactly.
So,
that's how it goes.
Whatever.
Yeah.
I'll put it this way. Being there is better than not being there.
Well, you gotta beat the best to be the best, right? I think some famous wrestler once said that. So whether you got to start with the Panthers or the Bruins, it doesn't matter. You're going to have to play well, and that's something that this team and this coaching staff has been able to do in the postseason. Now, that being said, so much of it comes down to the goalies, right? And I expect to see Vasi at his best, and Bobrovsky, you don't know. I mean, I don't know if the Lightning are in his head. I think they were at one point a couple of years ago when the Lightning swept them, and they were they're bouncing back and forth in goal. But what are your thoughts on Bobrovsky versus Vasi right now?
I think Bobrovsky is much more of an established number one goalie than he was when they played them in 21 and, lesser in 22. 22 was Vasilevsky's series. You have to think Kucherov makes that amazing play with, I think, less than a second on the clock to steal game 2. Vasilevsky absolutely steals game 4 with 49 saves, 49 saves shutout. I don't throw that series on Bob at all, really. I think Bob played excellently there. And in in 2021, I think he got yanked a few times. It was thought that he was done. They had that big contract, but now he's their number one guy. They've kind of cleared off the deck of a lot of those other goalies and really put their faith in him, and I think he's rewarded them. I think last year's run did wonders for him personally. So I don't think we're gonna if we're hoping that Bob is gonna just throw a couple games our way, I don't think that's gonna happen. Like, you have to win. You have to go out there and win them and grind on them. And I have concerns about this team, but I think the concerns that they can be fixed. I think my concerns are really on the defensive end, and obviously Glendening's health. I think Luke Glendening is a really important part of what they want to do in the playoffs, and I'm going to see what his status is. But those are the two. I think they got to figure out the left side of their defense. Guys haven't looked comfortable there. Dumba hasn't looked particularly comfortable there. Perbix God, Perbix, I don't know what I'm getting from Perbix from game to game. I wish Perbix would clear out pucks with a little bit more urgency than he tends to like to do. I think, God, I forget which game he just had. I think it was the Ottawa game. He just had one of the worst turnovers. I like turnovers you should not have this late in the season. Like, he just got undressed by somebody. I'm like, man, what are you doing? Like this, you can't do that against any team in game 80 of the season. Like, that can't happen. So, those guys have to be a lot better. Because this is not a team you sit around there and dangle with the puck around. You got to get that puck out of the zone fast.
Agreed. Corey Long joining us here, covers the Bolts and, of course, college football and pro football as well. And when you look at some of the younger defenders, I was just mentioning before you came on that Perbix and Lilleberg and some of these younger defenders, they're going to be targeted by the Panthers and any team that the Lightning play. I mean, you got to earn your stripes in the playoffs as a young player. And I think that's Brian Engblom was saying this the other night on our post-game show. Those guys are probably going to have to grow up in a hurry. What are your concerns about the younger players on defense?
Like I said, with Perbix, my concern is that he's just too loose with the puck.
Yeah.
I've seen too many occasions where he has a puck on his stick in the D zone, and he just does not clear it with any level of either it's a lazy clear or he misses the clear, or God forbid he just gets the puck stolen from him. And I don't know what's going through his head. I just like, man, just loft that thing in the air and get it out of there. Like, what are you thinking about here? Like, I think a lot of times he's thinking about, maybe there's a breakout situation and there just isn't, or it just isn't the right time for it.
Yeah.
Like, so, that his Perbix, my issues with Perbix are just situational play. Lilleberg he's young and he does young things, and at times he got, when he was up the first time, he had a couple of, games where he had some bad minuses. I think those got into his head.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hopeful that, when he comes back, he's gonna, now that he's back, he's kind of, he's kind of, letting his game do a little bit more of the work for him and not try as hard in some areas to where he's, he's kind of over trying. You're not going to have Fleury. He's not ready. So you really don't want to use DeHaan more than you need to.
Right.
So, these are your six guys. And, we're gonna have to roll the dice, and and without Sergachev, Dumba can play a lot of minutes, but he's got to be better than he's been these last 2-3 weeks. He's got to be a little sharper than he's been. And I think he's capable.
Yeah.
But he's got to get there. Because he's gonna have to play 20+ minutes. Now, the good news is that Hedman's Hedman, and Darren Radish grew up last year in the playoffs. Had a hell of a playoff.
Yeah,
and he's had a very good season. I think he's a very unsung, he's a very unsung guy on this D-core, because I do think that he generally gives you what you need, especially playing across from Hedman. He's not, he does his job. He's not super flashy, but he can shoot. He can operate a power play. He does. You can tell his confidence has grown significantly after his playoff last year.
Right. Yeah.
Eric Chernak's just got to stay healthy, man. Yeah. I mean, I love that he blocks shots. I hate that he seems to block shots with parts of his body that keep him injured.
I know.
You got to.
They can't afford to lose anybody in the D-core. Do you think there's any chance Sergey comes back?
Conference finals at best.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't see it. I don't see it anytime soon.
Apparently, Glendening and Mott are not on the ice today.
Yeah, that's bad. I mean, that's doubly bad, because those are that Glendening and Mott had a heck of. They really gave you some great fourth line production. Glendening had like 11 goals.
Yeah,
and him and Mott, they did great PK work. They could break out some stuff shorthanded.
Yes.
Glendening is your best face-off guy, and that's a killer, because they were. You can just put him in situations where he can just win the face-off and get out.
Yeah.
So, I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful one of them returns. like the Glendening injury did not look good at all. It looked like, and it wasn't a particularly bad hit. So it just makes you feel like something, did not do what it was. Some part of his arm did not do what it was, or shoulder did not do what it was supposed to do. So, so they're banged up. This is a banged up team now. So you're 2 forwards now. You're probably going to play 11-7. I don't see Austin Watson getting in the lineup against this team. He's not the skater that you really want to put out there against Florida. Against Boston, I think you could have taken some chances, but Florida can skate too well on all 4 lines to leave them out there. So, I mean, in essence, you're rolling with 11 forwards for a while. And the unfortunate part is those 2 guys, they give you some stuff on that 4th line.
I know.
And you can't afford any more injuries. You cannot afford another injury on this team.
No.
Like you're really down to 18 skaters. So yeah, they're coming into this one. They're coming into this one really banged up. This is not the ideal situation. I know they were trying to keep it seemed like the more they were trying to keep good health, the more just odd things happen. Fleury runs into an official head on. Glendening seems to have gotten a bad shoulder injury based on on a really very, very light check. Very innocuous hit. Mott gets hurt blocking a puck that I don't even think he was trying to block.
No, just hit off his ankle.
I mean, you thought if this team didn't have bad luck, they wouldn't have any luck.
Yeah, those are, and you don't know. They could be on the ice tomorrow. You don't know. They may keep them up, but today, not being out there today when you're doing your real, first big practice and matchup baseball for a series is not good. So
not good. The good news is they're veterans, so they could show up tomorrow and they know what to do. I ain't worried about those. I'm not worried about Tyler Bott and Luke Glendening knowing what to do this time of year. But I would love to see them out there, even if they lie to me,
Just get out there and skate some.
Yeah.
Hey, Corey, quickly, I want to pick your brain on the Bucks draft a little bit as well. Where do you think they're going in the first couple of rounds? What are your thoughts, position-wise?
When in doubt, pick somebody on the lines, I always say.
Right.
I think they've got, I think there's some interior. I think they could definitely use an upgraded center. I don't know about you.
Sure. That's my number one. That's my number one pick. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think they can certainly use it. You have enough pass rushers, and I don't think anybody is completely sold on Joe Tryon as your number one pass rush guy. So, I think, and the good thing is they're in a spot where, you might something really nice might fall in your lap in this sort of a draft. Guys are so many teams are hunkering for quarterbacks that I think you can get a lot of trade ups, and it should go in the top 15, might fall in your lap. So if you had to ask me, just really not having done a ton of research so far, I would say that interior offensive line, pass rush would be the 2 choices that I think they would be happiest trying to work with.
Totally agree on that front. Are you going to be keeping an eye anywhere on the FSU spring game tomorrow? A couple of their quarterbacks are already down, so DJ Uliungalele is going to get a lot of show time tomorrow, 4 o'clock.
Yeah, what time is that game? At 5?
4 o'clock. 4 o'clock. I think it's going to be on the ACC network. Yeah.
Okay, what'll happen is I'll be in transit to Sunrise, so I'll probably watch it on ESPN Plus when I get to my hotel, and I'll watch it then. I quarterbacks that Luke, long last name, and Brock Glenn aren't gonna play because I really want to see how the quarterbacks he recruits how they play. Like, we've never really seen a quarterback that he recruited play. Also, Tate had 2 starts, Brock Glenn had 2 starts, and they weren't really, and none of them were ideal. I want to see those guys play. And it's like as I told him, and God knows, God, last time I ever brought this up to FSU fans, they got so defensive. And I said, listen, the guy ain't your father, first of all. I think Mike Norvell's a great coach. They picked the right guy. Everybody believes that. But, hey, guys, every quarterback he's recruited is either transferred or stunk. So, like, I want to see if he's got some guys. Like, can he get a quarterback in the system that didn't transfer? So, or that he didn't inherit. So that's all. I said, so maybe it's Brock Glenn, maybe it's Luke Kromenhoek, but I don't know. And I wanted to see those guys. I want to see those guys. I thought Brock Glenn actually, looked much better from game 1 to game 2. And given that, Georgia was a whole heck of a lot harder than Louisville, that wasn't a bad sign. But, I want to see how those guys play. I want to see if they've got a running back that can replace Trey Benson. I'm not sure that Roy Dell Williams is that guy, but, we'll see.
Got Toafili.
You got Toafili. They're not really using him as he's not. I don't know. They don't look at him like a 15, 20 carry guy.
No, he's more a guy out of the backfield than a couple plays here and there. I'm trying to the young freshman coming in. Everybody loves Cam. What's his last name? Cam something. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see a whole lot of him in this spring game. I think so.
We'll see. We'll see. We'll see if Cam something. That's what we're gonna call him right now. We'll see if Cam something.
Total brain fart on that. Yeah.
Yeah. Can keep Trey Benson off of our minds. And I want to see. I really do want to see them because they did lose a lot. They've brought in some different pieces. They're gonna, that some guys that have been recruited are gonna have an opportunity to step up. I'm a little excited to kind of see what they've got. As I was, I saw the Miami game, I saw the Florida game, and I looked at both of them, and I'm in they all really intrigued me a little bit. Florida, the Lagway kid. I mean, if Billy Napier wanted to keep his job, he did the right thing, by showcasing the Lagway kid in front of about 50,000 fans last week. Because there wasn't a Gator fan that wasn't excited about it. I looked at it, I was like, "Ooh, this kid's real. Ooh, this kid's got some juice to him." Is
that a good idea or a bad idea?
No, I think that's a great idea. Like, I think that was a great idea because the Florida hadn't had a player like that on offense since Cam Newton was there. Like, in terms of just a kid that I looked at like, whoa, this kid's got size. This kid's got an arm. This kid's got some brass to him. Like, this is someone their fan base can get excited about. Now, that doesn't mean I jump out there and play him week 1 against Miami. As I was telling our buddy Charles Fishbine, I said, it's more important that young man be available and be, fairly healthy for their final games next year than for their first 4. So it's like I want to work him in, but I want him to start that second half of the season when they're playing through that gauntlet of so he really knows what he's going up against, and I want him to be fairly healthy when he does. And, I saw Miami, and I think they're a big, physical, impressive team up front on both sides. And I understand why teams wanted Cam Ward. I wasn't totally sold on him, but I mean, boy, he's got a lot of he's another a great a wonderful arm, a wonderful command of what he's doing. You can tell that he's that he's been in the college game for a while. Just kind of the way he seems to control a huddle. So the teams around them. Or at least, I think Miami's getting better because I think they're just good up front. And I think, Florida's now got a player that they can sell to recruits, which I don't know that they've had, finally, hey, play with this guy. This guy is going to be good. It's not like the hodgepodge of junk that they've had for the last, several years. So now it's Florida State's turn.
I'm sure Cristobal will screw it up, but, they definitely
it can absolutely happen. I put nothing above anybody screwing up something, but I do think that he's done a good job of building up the areas that I know Mario for a long time, and the one thing he wants to be is strong up front, and he's done his due diligence there. Those kids that he's got on the offensive line, he's got 2 NFL kids at offensive tackle, and that's where you want to build your foundation at.
Yeah, you knew he was going to get those players up front at some point. So they're definitely on the come. That's going to be a great game in Tallahassee this year. All right, partner. Or is it in Miami? I think it's in.
It's in Miami this year.
In Miami. That's right. The Gators are in Tallahassee. That's right. All right, partner. Appreciate your time. Go enjoy practice. We'll catch up with you next week.
Absolutely. Sounds great, buddy. You take care.
Thanks. The great Corey Long right there. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we will have our Hydrate Heroes Hero of the Week coming to you live from down at Cocoa Beach. So stay with us. Quick break here. JP here for the Jeeves Law Group and my man, Scott Jeeves. If you're going to hire an attorney, do you want some guy looking for a quick settlement and a quick buck, or do you want an attorney with some chops? Scott is a board-certified civil trial lawyer and a certified circuit court mediator. Been practicing in the Tampa Bay area for over 30 years. He is a peer-reviewed AV preeminent-rated civil trial lawyer. They just don't hand out those classifications. He's been the lead class action counsel on many complex consumer protection cases and has handled hundreds of serious personal injury cases. He's dedicated his career to protecting injured victims and is committed to vigorously representing you. We're local, we're trusted, and we get results. Personal injury and personal attention. Call for a free case evaluation. That's 888-9-JEEVES. That's 888-9-JEEVES. The Jeeves Law Group. JP here for the Geddes Gordon Real Estate Group and our good friend Jane Geddes. Folks, simply put, there is nobody like Jane. Jane is a former LPGA 2-time major championship winner. She was also vice president of talent relations at WWE. She also has a law degree from Stetson. So if Jane can drain a 10-footer to win the U.S. Open and stare down Hulk Hogan in the boardroom, you want Jane on your real estate team to not only negotiate the best deal, but find you the perfect home or investment property. And when you work with the Geddes Gordon Group, you become part of the real estate family and get concierge services that include expertly staging, marketing, and preparing your home for sale. Advice on golf properties. Hey, you might even get some golf tips. Many of their clients become friends long after the sale or purchase is completed. It's all part of the deal. So if you're looking for that perfect home or investment property or trying to get top dollar for your home, go with Jane Geddes and the Geddes Gordon Group, because there's nobody like Jane. Call 813-485-6808 or go to geddesgordon.kw.com. That's GEDDES Gordon.kw.com or call 813-485-6808. Everyone knows Italiano Insurance is your go-to for home insurance, but they also have an amazing team that focuses on business insurance. Yes, your business is most likely your biggest asset, so make sure you have the right coverage at the most competitive price. And if you started a side hustle recently, don't forget you need business insurance, because if you get sued in this over-litigious society we live in, you could lose all your personal wealth. So get that business insurance. And for the best customer service, always choose Italiano. My representative, Charity, is amazing. I called her late on a Friday because my insurance was going to lapse. She stayed late until the job was done. You just don't find that anymore. Give them a call, 813-877-7799. That's 813-877-7799. Italiano Insurance.
Let's go. Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the great folks at Extravaganza Productions. For any of your big events coming up or small events, they will take care of you. All your audio-visual needs, extravaganzaproductions.com. All right, let's welcome in our good friend Michael Gardner from Hydrate Heroes, the CEO, to introduce our Hydrate Heroes Hero of the Week. What's up, my friend? How are you?
Man, you know what? I'm out here in Cocoa Beach.
Looks
beautiful weather. Yeah, I don't know how my golf game will be, but it doesn't matter when you're playing in conditions like this. It doesn't matter, bro. But no, I'm super excited to announce our Hydrate Hero of the Week. In fact, we're out at a very, very actually inspiring organization that we're supporting today. But her name is Vanessa, and she's going to say a quick hi and tell her a little bit about her foundation. And this is why Richie put this together, and it'll tie into what our hero does. So say hi.
everybody. I'm Vanessa Dinacoman. I'm from the Arc of Space Coast. It's a pleasure to be here, and thank you so much for supporting. We are an organization for adults with disabilities, intellectually, physically, developmental, and we also help homeless veterans. So we're out here raising money to assist them in their whether they're in a residential home or if they're in a day training program, which they attend 5 days a week from 8 to 5.
So that's what we're about out here. And Richie,
Nice.
you know, you're gonna have a chance to meet him. And actually, Richie and I met in Atlanta. I didn't know he was from Florida when we met, and one thing led to another. And he's actually become part of the Hydrate Hero team. But he's really a hero at the end of the day with everything he's doing and supporting these different organizations. But I want him to tell his story because I don't do it justice.
All right, cool, Michael. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate it. Enjoy the golf
Absolutely.
today. We'll bring Richie in here. There we go. We got them both in there. All right, beautiful. So wow, Rich. I love it, Richie. Yeah, we can hear you. We can see. I love the shirt. Love the hat that's going on. Let me just give folks a little bit of information about you. Richie, he's retired Air Force Lieutenant Colonel, 21 years of service, including assignments in acquisition, communications, and operations. Has been assigned to Eglin Air Force Base, Wright-Patterson, Hurlburt Field, Langley Air Force Base. Thank you so much for your service, Richie. And it looks like you guys got a great day out there for your event. Tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us. Yeah, as you mentioned, retired veteran. We're here at Rockledge Country Club. I've been a member here for a decade. It's a wonderful place here in Brevard County, in Rockledge, Florida, right next to Cocoa. But Launchpad Golf Club is the title sponsor. We have an indoor TrackMan facility, and members come in and bring families and friends. Yeah, so we're having a good time with that, and we decided to sponsor this. You heard Vanessa tell you about ARC, so we think that's a wonderful charity. We also get involved in several veterans charities just in the month of April. This is our third tournament that Launchpad has sponsored in the month of April alone that has some tie to helping veterans and folks in need. So we're very proud to be part of it. And the name of this tournament is Wacky Tacky. So I'm kind of dressed. You might have noticed. My goal is to bring back 70s disco here in 2024.
You're doing a great job of it, Richie. I love it.
I appreciate it. And my cart has a disco ball on it. So there will be some glitter rolling off the golf cart as well. So we're excited to be a part of it and have a lot of fun. So.
Oh, I love it. Have you ever been to Johnny's Hideaway in Atlanta?
No, but since you mentioned it, I'll probably go seek it out and find it.
If you wanted some good 70s disco, that's the place to go in Atlanta, my friends. Good stuff. Well, thank you very much for your service. And tell me a little, she mentioned the homeless veterans, which is something that is a really chronic problem in this country. So many of our veterans come home and they can't find a place. They can't fit into society. They end up in the homeless population. How can we help them out?
Well, honestly, there's several good organizations, and ARC is one, but there are organizations like ARC is working through Patrick Air Force Base or Space Force Base now through their Patriot program to get these folks, housing and stuff when you find them. But the key in some cases is locating them. So there's another organization I'm just getting familiar with. I don't know a lot of details, but they literally will go into like the woods, for example, and find our homeless veterans and then bring them in. So yeah, you got to locate them. And then and in some cases you locate them. They're there in front of you. You see them, you find them, and we do that. But really, really cool. But, we just need to take care of veterans. I'm so impressed with the history. You've got World War II veterans and Vietnam veterans and Korean, just so many impressive things that they've done. I've got several Marine Corps buddies that they have some stories. They were in, Fallujah and Desert Storm 1 and 2 and Afghanistan. And I'm telling you, one of my really good friends has quite a few stories about his, getting hit with shrapnel in his armored vehicle and continuing the mission, just keep going. But, that's the Marines, man. They're tough. Nobody ever said they are smart. That's Air Force. So the difference in services is the Air Force is prettier, smarter, more athletic, more talented, and most of all, more humble. We're more humble about it. So,
I can tell. I can tell, Richie. No question about it. Hey, I don't know how much contact you have with, or how long you've been out in civilian life, but it's never been more important that our military be ready and capable and able to go. When you're chatting with your folks in the military, is that the situation that exists? Because clearly there's a lot of hot spots on the globe. Is our military ready to go?
Well, our folks are. The military is the best and brightest in the world. And, there's always debates about, the leadership that's in charge and how much support they're getting and stuff. And,
exactly.
Obviously that's different discussion, but the people that are in there, they dedicate themselves. I swore an oath to the Constitution of this country back in 1984, and it's 2024, and it's 40 years later. It doesn't matter. I mean, that oath still means to me and every veteran what it meant to them when they were active duty. That's just the way we are. So we will stand and fight for this country, for the Constitution, regardless of whether we're still active or not. And it's just, so there's a lot of really, really great folks. And I don't know that I can tell you my time in the military, I felt way more supported and than you do now, I guess. Exactly. I would say. Yeah. But so things, but the people are fantastic and they are dedicated to their mission and what they do. So.
Well, Richie, listen, man, you look great. So enjoy your time out there today. Thank you for all you've done in your service of 21 years to this country. And, of course, helping out the vets now is much appreciated as well. So enjoy the day out there. It looks like a beautiful day, and you look like you're ready to go. So
I'm ready to go. Yeah. Thank you so much for the opportunity to talk, and you have a great day yourself.
Thank you, Richie. Appreciate it. Is this Mike, you still – is that your disco ball, Mike?
Hey. He wasn't lying. He's got the disco ball on the golf cart. And one thing about Richie, like that guy dresses to the T, but let me tell you something, he can play too. Oh. So next time we get a little foursome here, we're gonna
you gotta look good. You gotta look good to play good. You gotta look good to play good.
Hey, that's what Jerry Rice said, didn't he? Jerry Rice didn't have the fastest 40, but he looked good, and guess what? He played good. So well,
I got my Hydrate Heroes. So. I know you're drinking some Hydrate Heroes. By the way, this is pretty good with vodka in it too.
Oh shit!
Watermelon elderberry with a little bit of Tito's in it. Pretty good.
How do you feel the morning after? Is my question.
Better than drinking soda. That's for damn sure.
Again, you're hydrating while you're dehydrating. You're hydrating, so you're good to go, man. And no, thanks for the support. And again, I love the fact that our hero, recognizing them every week, and everything that you do with your show, JP. And thanks for allowing us to highlight these heroes, because that like you said, more than ever, we really need to recognize these heroes,
absolutely,
current and veterans. So thanks for your support as well.
All right, you guys have fun. I won't keep you any longer. I wish I was out there playing.
Staying alive.
Get out of here. Oh, man, this looks like a beautiful day for golf out there. I hope you guys are getting out and enjoying this fantastic weather. All right, we'll take a quick break. We'll come back and finish things up here. We'll get you ready for a little weekend of hockey. We'll get you ready for the draft that's coming up next week. And a couple other stories. And, of course, we have to talk about Taylor Swift's album dropping, right? I think it's like by law we have to do that. So we'll do that when we come back. Stay with us. Everyone knows Italiano Insurance is your go-to for home insurance, but they also have an amazing team that focuses on business insurance. Yes, your business is most likely your biggest asset, so make sure you have the right coverage at the most competitive price. And if you started a side hustle recently, don't forget you need business insurance, because if you get sued in this over-litigious society we live in, you could lose all your personal wealth. So get that business insurance. And for the best customer service, always choose Italiano. My representative, Charity, is amazing. I called her late on a Friday because my insurance was going to lapse. She stayed late until the job was done. You just don't find that anymore. Give them a call, 813-877-7799. That's 813-877-7799. Italiano Insurance. It's Diamond Days at the Gold and Diamond Source, because April's birthstone is diamonds. As they take center stage, get up to 20% off all diamond jewelry. And our first-time buyers program will help you get educated about the 4 C's and all the different shapes and styles. And remember, you only want natural diamonds, folks. It takes billions of years to form a natural diamond. You don't want something that was made in a factory just a couple of weeks ago. And remember, your Gold and Diamond Source diamond never loses its value. You can always trade up at the Gold and Diamond Source for a bigger, better one. And they will spend the time to educate you about your diamonds and how to take care of them. And of course, consider the Gold and Diamond Source to maintain and insure your jewelry. They can professionally clean it, check the settings, and make any necessary repairs to keep your jewelry in top condition. It's the 40th anniversary of the Gold and Diamond Source, 3800 Overton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com.
JP here for the Jeeves Law Group, Jeeves. Call for a free case evaluation, 888-9-JEEVES. That's 888-9-JEEVES. We're local, we're trusted,
The law firm brings over 80 years of combined legal experience focusing on clients in Tampa Bay, the state of Florida, and national class action cases. If you're injured, get that free case evaluation, no cost to you. The Jeeves Law Group's focus is on auto, truck, and motorcycle accidents, as well as class action and consumer protection law. Scott Jeeves is a board-certified civil trial lawyer and a certified circuit court mediator practicing in the Tampa Bay area for over 30 years. You hear him on the show all the time. Great guy, big Gator fan, and great for the community. The Jeeves Law Group is a highly skilled team with years of experience that will apply their skills, expertise, and knowledge to assist individuals who have been in an accident with compensation for damages, lost wages, medical expenses, pain and suffering, and property damage. Get that free case evaluation, 888-9-JEEVES. That's 888-9-JEEVES.
Let's go. Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show here as we wrap things up on a Friday, get you ready for the weekend, which is going to be fun, but even next week, though, we got some issues. We got some issues. If you haven't heard the schedule times for the games that are out, of course, 12:30 starting on Sunday is game one, Panthers and Lightning down in Sunrise, which is going to be weird. And by the way, the Lightning are out practicing today, and Luke Glendening not on the ice, Tyler Mott not on the ice, Fleury not on the ice, and Sergei still in his red non-contact. So as we talked earlier with Corey Long, not a great injury situation for the Lightning, no question about it. So they're prohibitive underdogs in this. This is going to take one hell of an effort from this Lightning team to beat Florida, but it's playoff hockey, so anything can happen. Very much looking forward to it. So you got Sunday's game at 12:30, and then Tuesday, game 2 down in Sunrise. That'll be a 7:00 start as well. Then you got Thursday here, game 3. By the way, you could still get tickets at TampaBayLightning.com to those games. Thursday is 7:00 start, or sorry, 7:30 for game 2, 7:00 for game 3. Then Saturday, 5:00. And by the way, if you're going to these games, the playoff games at Amalie Arena, if puck drops at 7, got to be there by at least 6:15 because there's going to be longer lines to get in. A lot of people coming to the games that don't usually, maybe you're not season ticket holder. So just get there early. Make sure you're in your seats because, a lot of times during the regular season, we'll have about, half the lower bowl full when the puck drops, just, parking and everything else downtown. We get it, but just try to make a special effort to get there a little bit early and plus there's going to be a lot of parts of the pregame festivities. We're ramping up at Lightning Vision. I was talking to Johnny Franzone, our executive producer for Lightning Vision. They've got all new videos, playoff openings. We bring in the holograms. So the show gets bigger and better in the playoffs. So make sure you get there early, get to your seat, get your beer, get your nachos, get whatever you're going to do. But get in your seat about 6:45 so you can get the whole show. Of course, you don't want to miss my pregame show on the Jumbotron. I mean, clearly that's the highlight. So get in. Well, at least we'll get you ready with all the facts and figures, right, for the pregame. So try to get there about 15 minutes before the scheduled puck drop. So get in your seats by 6:45 for that game, and for the 5:00 game, which is really going to throw your whole thing off, right? There's a bunch of other things going on downtown. Just get there early, get parked, and get in so you'll be ready to support your team and bring that thunder, as we say. So 5:00 on the Saturday game. The other game times are TBD. And then the other thing about Thursday night, obviously, we had a couple of you guys commenting. You got your tickets to the draft party or going to the draft party at Ray J, and that starts, I think it's 6:30, 6:00 at Ray J. And, of course, you got the Lightning game 3. Usually the Lightning, they'll obviously be having the draft on the big boards, but maybe bring your phone or whatever so you can follow the Lightning game as well. But a little bit of a conflict there. Sucks, I know, but it is what it is. A couple other comments I wanted to get to today. Easy says, sucks they play at 7:00 on Thursday. Yep, already got tickets to the draft party. I know. That does suck, but you can follow both.
James says, unfortunate NHL revenues don't equate to increase in cap. We have an owner that would keep great players, but because of cap, great working, drafting, and developing doesn't reward these organizations. I was just thinking about that the other day, and, we got to enjoy what we have now. Obviously, you want to stay in the moment and enjoy this run. But, man, Kucherov is 30 years old. I think Hedman's 33, Stamkos 34. The core of this team, Vasilevsky, turned 30. But, these goalies can play it late into the 30s. I think Vasi's still got, 7, 8, 9 great years left, certainly 5 or 6 great years left that they can play late into their 30s. Look at Fleury, look at some of these other guys. Goalies can play a long, long time. Now, you hope the back injury isn't something that lingers for Vasi, and I don't think it will with his work ethic and his ability to rehab, and that's why I think you'll see a lot better Vasilevsky in the playoffs. But getting Glendening back would be huge. Getting Tyler Mott back would be huge, but at this point they're not skating today, so I'm not sure they're going to be available for the first round of the playoffs. Yes, Taylor Swift did drop her album last night. The Tortured Poets Department, not exactly running out to listen to it like I have maybe some of the others, but there is a song in there called Florida. So for whatever that's worth, go pick up your Taylor Swift or download your new album. Michael Penix is flying up the draft boards. Dade City's own. This is going to be, I think, and it does impact the Buccaneers, obviously, because my guess is that 6 quarterbacks are going to be taken before the Bucs pick at 26. Bo Nix is you see this all over the place, and I don't think I just can't see Sean Payton going through a year where he doesn't have a quarterback to work with, and Bo Nix has been kind of mocked to the Broncos, and I don't know how they're going to have. They could stick and stay where they are. I believe they're at 12 and get him, but I think if he's not there, I think he takes Penix. I think there's no question Michael Penix will be gone before the Buccaneers pick. And there had been some talk of the Bucs picking a quarterback. I just don't see it, folks. I think rightfully so, as I hit my Hydrate Heroes. So good. I just don't think that – I think Jason Light sees this as an opportunity to, if not a Super Bowl roster this year, the following year. And they'll have more cap money as the cap goes up and they clear off some of the dead money from the Brady years. Next year, you get 2 draft classes, another free agent class, and Mike Evans will be in that final year. Just Baker Mayfield getting more and more experience within this offense. So I think they're in it for the now. I think they have to surround Baker Mayfield with as many weapons as they can. I've said this a lot, that I think the center position, if you can improve that dramatically with with the best center in the draft and Jackson Powers Johnson, then that's the fastest way to improve this team, because that improves your running game, improves your passing game, which helps your defense. And then, can you get a decent edge rusher in the second round? Probably not. There's not a lot of great edge rushers in this draft. Some people think it would be better to take that edge rusher up top and then get an interior offensive lineman in the second round. And typically, these are things that you can do. But with this particular draft, I don't even think there's going to be a decent edge rusher left at 26. And that's the problem. Now, if a Jared Verse or a Latu from UCLA is falling down the draft board, is that an opportunity for Jason Light to move up and get one of these guys? I think it is. My gut feeling is that the Bucs are looking at a couple of guys, and I think it's Jackson Powers Johnson and Jared Verse, and maybe Latu from UCLA. Those guys, those 3 guys, Barton from Duke, guys that will likely be there at 18, 19, 20. And then what do you have to do to jump up and get those? We had J.C. Allen on the other day, and he's like, this is a deeper draft. You can find some really good players in 3rd and 4th round. So I don't think the Bucs are going to give up that extra 3rd round pick. I don't know. I think you got to find difference makers. And yes, you can find some decent starters in the 3rd and 4th round, But the guys that really put you over the top, that help you win championships, are the big time difference makers. And those are, first and second round talent guys. So I think Jason Light's moving up. I think they're going to move up to get a center or a starting left guard, maybe an edge rusher. That's going to impact this team now. And I think that's the way to play it. That's the way they played it during the Brady years. You go out and you get an opportunity when you have your quarterback. And I think the Bucs feel like they have their quarterback in Baker Mayfield. I think his ceiling is a little bit higher than maybe most others think. With a little bit of consistency and a better offensive line and a running game, I think Baker can be a hell of a lot better. And I think this offense can move from, a 21st, 22nd ranked offense into the top 15, maybe into the top 12. The defense, I think with Todd Bowles, you're always going to have a good high pressure defense that'll be able to change games. But, and who knows what Randy Gregory can add? Who knows if JTS can be better? Can they get a better pass rush from Kancey if he can stay healthy in training camp? I definitely believe they can. So to me, for the Bucs, this is get better on the offensive line, add a little bit extra, another athlete on the outside as a pass rusher, and let Todd Bowles go to work with that. The FSU lawsuit, wanted to mention a couple quick updates on that. We had Scott Jeeves on yesterday, and he talked about these concurrent, you got Leon County. The judge did not stay the case, and normally they would stay the case and say, okay, North Carolina's taking the case, we'll do it up there. But he didn't do that, and that's unusual. And so if these cases run concurrently, they could run all the way to the United States Supreme Court. And when you're talking about the amount of money that's involved in this, that's something that definitely could happen. But I think what Florida State right now is doing is putting pressure on the ACC, Clemson putting pressure on the ACC. And at some point, there's going to be a settlement in this case. And Florida State, I don't know what their breaking point is. I think they and Clemson, I think North Carolina might join the suit as well. And once that happens, the pressure ramps up on the ACC to just, to keep together what they can keep together. And these guys are leaving. Certainly Clemson and Florida State are getting out at some point. What's the exit fee going to be? How do you try to sustain the ACC moving forward? But I don't think Clemson and Florida State are going to be part of it. And I would think likely Miami and North Carolina will be out as well. So, but we'll keep you posted on the lawsuits and what happens next in that. And in the spring game tomorrow, 4:00, FSU, I believe it's on the FSU ACC network. Surprised they're even letting them use the ACC network for that, but they want content, right? They want the content so they can still sell their spots. Watch Marvin Jones Jr., who's had a hell of a spring. Obviously the son of the College Football Hall of Famer, one of my favorite players to ever play Shade Tree. I think he's going to have a hell of a year opposite Patrick Payton. Those two rush ends for Florida State will definitely put this defense in that, which I think is going to be extremely talented. They've added some nice players in the secondary through the transfer portal as well. Could be very, very impressive. So watch that. That's tomorrow at 4:00. You got the Bolts Sunday at 12:30, and then the Rays start tonight against the Yankees. So a 3-game set for them up in the Bronx all weekend long. So it's going to be a nice weekend for enjoying your local sports. All right, that'll do it for us here today. Thank you guys for hanging in there. Appreciate you listening. Don't forget, you can listen to us every day on the Strike 102.5. We are always presented by Hydrate Heroes, so we're live on the radio every day, 102.5. If you miss any of the show, go back and listen to it on the podcast. You can do that on Apple and Spotify, any place that you get your podcasts. All right, be out there supporting your teams this weekend. We'll be back on Monday with more fun and frivolity. We'll leave you with one more break as we head to the end of the show. We'll see you on Monday. JP here from my friends at your local Synovus Bank, and I do mean friends, and I do mean local. One of the local managers in Tampa is John Acosta, big fan of the show, and I've known him for over 40 years. He's been in local banking since 1983. You talk about developing relationships. You don't stick around for that long unless you're doing things the right way and have a great reputation, and that's the focus company-wide at Synovus. Big enough to handle any complex international transaction,
but small enough to answer the phone when you have an urgent question about your business or personal account. And for personal accounts, they have a very easy app that works great. You can do everything online. And for large or small businesses, you will get that personal touch and services to help build your business, taking your dreams and aspirations from the whiteboard to reality. We can make that happen. Let us show you how. For a get-acquainted meeting to open a business or personal account, just call John or go to Synovus.com to find out where your local branch is.
All right, this is for all you guys who don't want to go to the gym and do 5,000 crunches. At Bay Area Modern Medical Center, you can get on the new True Body machine where you can reduce fat and tone up your muscle. It's like doing 54,000 crunches